We'll go ahead and get started. First question, Jonathan Fagan.
Hi, Stephen. How do you feel now after what would be probably the most live practice of the three about the value of this time and what you guys might be gaining or able to gain in the middle of the season to have these 3 days?
It feels great. It feels great to get to some messaging without having it relate directly to a game. It feels great to kind of really get down to the like bare knuckles of offense and defense. Like we broke down today and did some live 2-on-2, which we haven't been able to do all season, and we got some live 4-on-4 where we're really concentrating on the help and how the 2-on-2 part and the 4-on-4 part go together. And then we did some 5-on-5 execution stuff against man and zone. Like we really got after it today, and it was competitive, and it was built off of what we did yesterday and very much tailored to us, because you know how it is. Like you get it in the season and you're really just concerned about the next game and game planning for the next team and what can we do to exploit that team. And we'll get into Chicago tomorrow, but today was very much about us. And it's good to have 2 days in a row where we're just concentrating on us and cleaning up a lot of different things on both ends of the floor.
Were you able to get Victor and the guys who will play on Monday all together?
Yeah, everybody was out there today.
Thank you.
Mark Berman.
Along those lines, Stephen, Vic did say yesterday his goal was to play on Monday. How do you look at that possibility?
Looks pretty good. He went through everything that we went through that we did today. It'll just be a matter of how his foot responds to a full practice. And today's practice was very much kind of put together in a way that it's similar to the load he would get in a game, I would think. Probably not quite, but the load for today's practice was pretty good. And he made it all the way through. He made it through the 1-on-1, made it through the 2-on-2, made it through the 4-on-4, and the 5-on-5, and when we got up and down. So we did a lot today, and he made it through all of it.
Is PJ good to go?
Yeah, PJ's good to go.
Adam Spollen.
Stephen, you talked about wanting to get Victor comfortable, and yesterday he said that he's most comfortable when he has the ball. When you have a guy like him who has had the ball so much over his career, is the hard part about getting him to play off the ball not that they're necessarily unwilling, but it's that they don't necessarily know how to be effective without the ball?
Probably. I mean, it's a lot easier to kind of create when you have the ball in your hands. It's a lot easier to kind of manipulate the game when you have the ball, and it's much harder because you are dependent on whoever has the ball to get it to you, or you're dependent on the action being executed correctly for you to get a chance and get the ball. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, that's a good question, and it's a good point. And today he and Eric were playing together a lot, and he had the ball some and he was off the ball some. So we're trying to make sure that both guys who are both good with the ball and good off the ball get a chance.
You bring up Eric. Eric has kind of been in a similar spot where he grew up always having the ball in his hands. Then, especially coming here, he had to learn how to play off the ball more. How do you think that he was able to really figure out how to be effective off the ball, and what can Vic learn from him?
Yeah, that's another good question. He had to figure out how to play off the ball because James had the ball most of the time when he was here, or Chris Paul had the ball most of the time when he was here. So he really had to figure it out, I assume, on his own. And like with play calls and that sort of thing, I can kind of figure out ways for him to get it. But he has found out that by spacing and receiving the ball and making quick decisions, whether it's a shot or a attack a closeout or something like that, that he can be effective. So it's probably by necessity, because when you have James and you have Russ and you have Chris Paul, you're probably not going to handle the ball very much. So he figured it out, which is a testament to his intelligence, one, but two, his like willingness to do it.
Jonathan Fagan.
We have been assuming that the lineup changes night after night have prevented continuity, chemistry, and so on. Are there things that you have seen in the video, or as you go through plays and practices, drills, and so on, that point to that? Or is it just things could be better with, what do you see when you look at things for that?
Yeah, so when you played with a guy, so perfect example today in practice, Eric and Tuck have this like language that they speak to each other that makes sense to them, and they just kind of do it. Like, we were working a dribble handoff drill today, and they are so connected and so much on the same page that they don't even really have to, all they have to do is give each other the look, and they know what the coverage is going to be and what they're going to be looking for and that sort of thing. And because they've played lots and lots of minutes together, and they have been in a ton of situations, and we as a group don't have any of that, like the look that Vic gives John Wall could mean anything, or when they're coming together on a defensive coverage, and they should probably switch, where Tuck and EG have been through that same situation over and over and over again. The other guys aren't as familiar with each other. So you bring that like narrow explanation and make it more broad to the group, and you see like the teams that have been together a bunch for a long time and have had steady lineups throughout the season are at the top of the league. You look at Utah. Utah's had pretty much the same guys play most of the games this season, and they've been together for quite a long time, and you see it. So yeah, there is something to that. And if you look at our minutes played per group of 5, I think amongst the guys who have been here, the most minutes that are the highest minute total for a group of 5 of our group has been 44 minutes of the whole season. And I think I'm right about that, but I could be wrong.
Well, I'm going to be too busy picturing Tuck and Eric talking like twins in some made-up language now. So thank you.
Yeah.
Haley Griffin.
Coach, we just heard from David Nwaba, and he kind of talked about the importance, as you did yesterday, about using these days to get practice time and get people healthy. And he mentioned that, he's still dealing with some nagging injuries like his ankle and some other things. I think we're quick to forget that he's still coming off an Achilles injury as well, just a little over a year ago. How would you describe his importance to this team and the durability of his body through all of this and the minutes he's been able to sustain while the team has been down so many bodies?
That's like a great point. That, yeah, he's coming off of a Achilles injury just like these other guys have, and I'm so dependent on him because of his one-on-one defense and his energy that he brings to the game and whatnot. And that can kind of get lost when you're dealing with guys like starters who are dealing with basically the same stuff like John and Victor and Cuz. But yeah, he's trying to come back from a major injury, and you almost forget about it because he has been so durable, explosive at times, and just like really good, especially on the defensive end. So I try my best to allow guys in a practice, especially like today, to kind of slide off to the side if they're kind of going through some things, and make sure that they're really attentive to their bodies. But yeah, he's super, super important because we can put him on primary scorers, and his thing is, yes, do it, and I'll do my best to shut him down. And a lot of times he does.
Thank you, Coach.